Think making money on OnlyFans is tax-free? Well, think again. If you're not handling your taxes the right way, the IRS could come knocking, and it won't be a fun introduction. If you're an OnlyFans content creator, you're technically self-employed, which means tax season can get complicated. Unlike a regular job, there's no boss automatically withholding your taxes. So do you have to pay taxes on OnlyFans? How much do you have to pay? What can you write off? And how do you avoid overpaying, or worse, underpaying? In this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know about OnlyFans taxes, how they work, and the best deductions to lower your bill. And best of all, how to keep more of your money. Let's get into it. Now, do you actually have to pay taxes on OnlyFans? Well, the short answer is yes. The IRS considers any money you make on OnlyFans as taxable self-employment income. So whether you make $500 or $500,000, Uncle Sam wants his cut. So why are OnlyFans creators considered self-employed? Well, OnlyFans doesn't hire you as an employee. Instead, you're an independent contractor. You're responsible for how you create your work on your timeline and cover all your own costs. So that means you're responsible for reporting and paying your own taxes. OnlyFans doesn't withhold any taxes from your earnings. You have to set that money aside yourself. So how much money do you owe on OnlyFans income? Well, your tax bill would depend on your business profit, the amount left over after you write off your deductions, but here's a little trick. Here's a basic breakdown on what that's gonna look like. So keep in mind, you have the self-employment tax of 15.3%, and this covers both employer and employee portions of Social Security and Medicare. Now, normally your employer would cover half of this in a regular salary job, and then you have your income tax. And this is usually 10 to 37%. But that's based on how much you make and your tax bracket. Additionally, there's gonna be state taxes as well. And this depends on where you live, and in some states like Texas and Florida, they have no income tax. So let's say you earn $100,000 in profit on OnlyFans. You'd owe about $15,300 in self-employment tax, plus federal and state income taxes, which varies based on your filing status tax bracket. So how do you keep more of that hard-earned money that you worked really hard for? Well, let's talk about deductions now. So with OnlyFans tax deductions, what can you actually write off? Well, since you're self-employed, you can deduct business expenses to lower your taxable income. That means less tax and more money in your pocket. Now, some of the top write-offs that you can have as an OnlyFans creator are going to be things like your home office deduction if you create content at home. A portion of your rent, utilities, and internet bill could also be deductible. Okay, well, how about that fancy new DSLR you just got, or any equipment like laptops, cameras, tripods, microphones, ring lights? Look, if you use any of that equipment for content, it's 100% a business expense. Well, what if you're a creator that uses costumes and props like outfits, lingerie, makeups, wigs? Well, anything that's exclusively used for content can be written off too. Okay, but what about editing software and subscriptions? Well, apps like Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, or Canva can be written off as well. Now, what about big questions here, like getting breast implants? It's deductible if it's a necessary expense for your business and clearly related to your income production activities. Well, what about things like education, classes, pole dancing, aerial arts, acting, dance classes, and voice lessons? These could all be deductible as well if they're necessary for your content. Well, let's talk about marketing. What about promotions or paid ads, website hosting, link in bio services like Linktree, or social media scheduling tools? Now, all these can also be written off, and this is also along with your phone and internet bill. Now, even things like travel expenses, hotel stays, flights, or mileage. But remember, that's only if you're traveling for content creation. Well, what about going out for business meals or meeting up with other content creators for collaborations? Well, that meal that you're gonna be eating is about 50% deductible. Okay, now that we've gone through expenses that you can write off, here's some common expenses that can't be deducted. Firstly, cosmetic surgery. Unless the surgery is necessary for your work or health, the IRS won't allow it as a deduction. Okay, well, what about a health club membership? Now, health club dues are considered personal expenses, so unfortunately, they're not deductible. Well, how about med spa treatments? Well, cosmetic treatments like Botox are considered personal expenses, and typically they're not deductible too. Now, here's a pro tip. Keep your receipts to claim these deductions. You definitely should keep records and use apps like QuickBooks, Keeper Tax, or even a service like collective.com. At the very least, keep a simple spreadsheet to track every expense. So how can you pay taxes on OnlyFans and avoid IRS trouble? Well, since OnlyFans doesn't withhold taxes, you have to pay estimated taxes throughout the year. If you don't, you could face some serious penalties. Okay, we've established you have to pay estimated taxes, but what do you need to know? Well, the IRS expects self-employed people to pay taxes quarterly. Now, here are going to be some of the key dates that you need to know. Dates like April 15th, June 15th, September 15th, and January 15th. You see the trend with the 15ths here? Now, the easiest way to submit estimated tax payments is online via IRS Direct Pay. You may also need to check your state's web pay options to submit state estimated tax payments. Skipping estimated taxes could lead to a big tax bill and penalties at the end of the year. So do not ignore this. Okay, so how should you structure your OnlyFans business? Now, if you're making some serious money on OnlyFans, forming an LLC and electing as an S Corp could save you thousands of dollars in taxes. Now, I'm sure you've heard of LLCs and S Corps, but what's the real difference here? Well, an LLC, or a limited liability company, is a legal structure that protects your personal assets, but it doesn't automatically reduce self-employment taxes. An S Corp, or S Corporation, is a tax selection that gets added to an LLC, and this allows you to split income between a salary and a distribution. And what this does is reduce the amount of self-employment tax that you have to pay. Okay, so you have your LLC. Now, when should you consider becoming an S Corp? Now, if you're earning $60,000 or more in profit per year, switching to an S Corp could save you thousands in self-employment tax. Now, you'll pay yourself a reasonable salary and take the rest as distributions. And the best thing here is these distributions aren't subject to Social Security and Medicare taxes. Now, if you're serious about long-term tax savings, talk to a tax professional. They'll help you see if an LLC with an S Corp status makes sense for your business. Now, let's get into something scary. What happens if you don't pay taxes on OnlyFans income? Now, ignoring your OnlyFans taxes can lead to major consequences. Things like an IRS audit. Now, you need to know the IRS receives 1099 NEC forms from OnlyFans, so they know exactly how much money you made. You'll also get failure to pay penalties. The longer you wait, the more taxes you'll owe, plus penalties and interest on late payments and filing. And unfortunately, you could also face legal consequences. In the most extreme cases, unpaid taxes can lead to liens or even criminal charges. So what's the bottom line here? Don't wait until tax season to figure things out. Make sure you stay ahead of it. In conclusion, taxes don't have to be scary. If you plan ahead, keep track of your income, take advantage of deductions, pay estimated taxes, and consider an LLC or S Corp if you're making good money. Now, if you want to keep more of your OnlyFans earnings, watch this next video on how to maximize your deductions and lower your tax bill. And be sure to comment down below. What do you want to know next when it comes to OnlyFans and taxes? Be sure to subscribe because we're making videos just like this all of the time. See you in the next video.